What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what the news data and technicals are telling us about NIO and many other stocks out there. I'm going to talk about SPY and Tesla and the QQQ as well. And I'm also going to break down what's happening with NIO's earnings and why the technicals are still looking very nice for NIO, in my honest opinion. Before I break anything down about what's going on with NIO and talk about why on earth it's still looking quite nice, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 10 free stocks, and it could be a free NIO or Tesla share. The offer ends very soon, so check it out before they run out. It'll be over in just about 8 days. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO is up 2.74% for the day, getting a very, very nice push up today. It sold off in the morning, and I was expecting NIO to hold at least above 7.5, and I thought we could get a test around there, so it went lower than I expected in my video from yesterday. But then I told you guys that it's very likely NIO is going to get a bounce and attempt to push to where the 200 EMA is, around 7.76 at the time. Instead, NIO went a little bit higher, and I said if it broke this, we could get to about $8. Instead, NIO came just below that. It was 12 cents off today, but it is getting very close to $8 and still showing some strength, as I told you guys yesterday. Now, to add on to this, what else is interesting is how when NIO dropped down, okay, right here, the RSI hit its bottom at about 23.88 or in the 23s. And notice how the price dropped lower and the RSI trended to the upside. So the price kept on trending up and it continued to do so. So after that happened, right, NIO made its final low at $7 and started bouncing. I warned you about this and I predicted that, and that is what ended up happening. And now look at the chart. This is very interesting, okay? NIO had a low of $7, right? It pumped a little bit, then it came down again, but look at the RSI. The RSI made an even lower low while the price made a higher low. So it's forming another divergence, and you got to bounce off of that. So that's once again forming more and more bullish signals over and over again. It could drop, but it's going to keep getting bought up. We're starting to see good volume on the thing. It's looking a lot better. Why is NIO performing so much better all of a sudden? Well, when you look at the earnings calendar, don't forget that Friday, NIO has its earnings before the market opens. Now, for SPY, let me just add that there aren't too many options expiring tomorrow, but there's an increased probability of it kind of dropping a little bit, in my opinion. Not guaranteeing it because we have to watch for confirmation, and this could slow NIO down, especially with the QQQ. Yes, NIO could get a somewhat slowdown and drop just a little bit, but I do believe that it's going to pump as we approach earnings once we get very close to it, especially by like Wednesday/Thursday. I think there's a very good chance. So yes, NIO could get dragged down just a little bit because of the markets, but I do believe it's still going to pump anyways, especially as we approach Thursday. Now, when it comes to earnings, there's so many people talking about this, even Deutsche Bank, and they're saying some positive things, but they did say some negative things about how NIO is not performing as well as what they wanted. And they talked about the fact that production, supply chain issues appear to be resolved. They said that the demand for their EVs has been disappointing. They said this about NIO and also for other companies, but they noted that there is potential for it if they give us very strong forecasts. So once again, we did see some of their analysts slashing their price targets on NIO, but they're still going to be very dependent on guidance. Now, when it comes to the overall technicals, let's just add that for the data tomorrow, there's not much coming out, just crude oil data and some mortgage application data. On NIO's Twitter page, I've been looking through it. I haven't really seen anything, just NIO once again talking about their deliveries and things like that. Nothing too massive. And finally, when it comes to NIO, the price comparisons, excuse me, the price comparisons right here are still looking a little bit weak, but it may try to get a bounce very, very soon around this level. So I'm going to be looking out for that. Let me also add that Wednesday's going to be strong days about 56% of the time. So NIO tends to do better for Wednesdays, especially during the fourth hour of the day. We saw only about 12 million NIO shares shorted, which is much lower than when we saw about almost or over 21 million of them. Now, volume is good. NIO is getting buying pressure. We're seeing the buyers stepping in again, and I consider that a pretty good sign for the stock. Now, let's break down these charts very briefly. For SPY, I'm not really liking the overall setup too nicely. So, yes, we formed a bearish divergence, sold off a tiny bit. Now we're trying to curl a bit, but there is a risk that we formed another bearish divergence on the 30-minute time frame, like right over here as we made a higher high. There's a good chance it's going to sell off near the morning time or during the pre-market. And I am anticipating that we're going to see more range-bound price action. It's very, very boring, but it did establish a lower high compared to here. We were at almost 430 yesterday, and now today our high was at just under 428.58 or around there, so just under 429. Quite a distance from it, maybe like just under or just over like 428.5. Overall, it is making a lower high compared to before, and the trend may just start to turn a little bit more bearish. I think it's just going to be range bound between this 426 support and then 428.5. We went back and forth today. So there's a good chance it's going to reject tomorrow and come down to this 426 level. Try to bounce, just trade sideways. But if it does break below 426, that's going to be a bearish signal. Now Tesla's outperforming. Tesla's currently it pushed up to 224, very close to our 225 resistance. I'm going to watch that level very, very carefully moving forward. For now, Tesla's holding up pretty well, but you have to be careful because of how it's responding to this level. The thing about Tesla is it's outperforming the market. It's doing very well, looks very strong, but you always have to be well aware of how this thing has moved historically. Tesla is outperforming the market, looking very strong, and there are no clear signs of it like, cooling off or doing anything like that. It's still holding up nicely. But the RSI is declining as it's continuing to pump, which is forming a divergence. Now, could Tesla pump more? Yes, it most definitely can. The trend is not confirmed. It dropping too hard or anything like that. Could hold at these levels, but we have to watch it on a level-to-level basis. And once the time comes for the rejection period and for it to start downtrending, it's going to be very serious because of this RSI rate over here. Now, you have to watch for confirmation. For bullish, we have to hold this 42. Did I say 224? Sorry, guys, 224 area. Hold that on Tesla, and then we're going to make our way up to 225. Break the 225, we're going to be watching 227 on Tesla, 228.67, followed by 230. Okay, those are some very important resistance zones. If we're bearish on Tesla, we're going to be watching, first off, this 222.74 support. That fails, it's going to come all the way down to this next major level at 221, 220, then 217 to 218 comes next. I think Tesla may cool off a little bit in the morning, but it may hold above 220. So we're going to be watching if it could hold that. I'm kind of in the middle on Tesla because the problem is the QQQ and SPY are looking a little bit weak. I mean, the QQQ is forming a head and shoulders like formation. I'd be very careful with this, but we need confirmation of a breakdown. If it breaks below 353, we're likely going to see it come down harder. If not, it's going to continue to chop for a while. If it does break down, this could slow Tesla down a bit, but Tesla has lots of relative strength, so I don't expect Tesla to drop way too hard. Now for NIO once again formed the bullish divergence, got a nice bounce again. I'm anticipating that NIO is going to continue to just trade a little bit sideways. If the market does cool off, we might see it retest 7.5, but we may see a lot of buyers come in again at these higher levels and try to push this thing later on, either by the end of the day tomorrow or by the day after, by Thursday. I'm expecting NIO to make its way up to 8.2 plus. That's my target. I think it could continue to break out harder depending on earnings, but there's a very good chance NIO is going to try to make its way above $8. Part of why I'm saying that is no matter which time frame you look at it, like the 1 hour, the 4 hour, there's a crystal clear. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. A clear inverse head and shoulder, and notice how it's starting to trend up now, right? It's starting to try to push to the upside with this wide open MACD on the 4 hour time frame. We have a head here, the left shoulder, and now our right shoulder is forming, and NIO is going to try to make its way up to 8.61, either approaching earnings or right after earnings, right? It depends on earnings. It looks like it's also getting an accumulation phase as buying pressure is returning with high volume. It looks like NIO is going to try to push for $8 or higher very, very soon. So watch that very carefully. Make sure you're ready for this and do what you have to do when it comes to watching the share price. But anyways, that's what I have for this video. I'm leaning more bullish on NIO. I think it's going to cool off first, okay? We might see a small drop because of the markets and may get a retest of 7.5. Then we're likely going to see NIO bounce and continue to range trade for a bit before this thing pushes all the way up to 7.8, breaks 7.8. We're likely going to see $8 then 8.2 plus. Breaks 8.2, we have a lot of potential to see NIO fly to 8.6, and it has a lot of potential to push up over the next couple of days. I'm still leaning more bullish approaching earnings, and once again, after earnings comes out, that's going to affect how it moves, but I'm still very, very optimistic. If William Lee Bin gives very positive guidance for the company, it still has potential to pump. I also can't wait to see what they announce at earnings. They know that lots of shareholders are disappointed, but these announcements are going to be pivotal for the share price, and we're getting very close to the big decision. Last but not least, I have some t-shirts, hoodies, and nice merch if you're interested in buying anything. And also don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. $100 in an account will get you up to 10 free stocks. All right, guys, thank you for listening. NIO, Tesla, and the market to the moon, as the long term is still incredibly bright. And peace out.